Moi everyone and welcome to Finish Your Plate. Rhubarbs are in season and Finns love rhubarb pie, especially as part of their coffee break. Of course, you know that Finns have legally mandated coffee breaks twice a day, so rhubarb pie goes great with your coffee, maybe as a dessert. So I made a rhubarb pie here which has a crumble top and it also has the creaminess of quark in it, and it's going to be a great addition to your coffee break. So join me and I'll show you how to make this Finnish rhubarb pie. First, let's start with the crumb mixture. I have 8 deciliters of all-purpose flour, 3 deciliters of sugar. I have 2 teaspoons each of baking powder and baking soda, 250 grams of butter that I'm gonna melt, and then I have here some vanilla extract. I'm gonna use about 2 teaspoons of it. And let's put our flour, baking powder, baking soda, and the sugar in the bowl. And we're just gonna give this a quick stir just to combine everything. Alright, now the butter has been melted. I'm just going to stir in some of the vanilla extract. I have here more than I need because I need some more for the filling too. I'm going to use about half of what I have. And now we're just going to pour the butter in and we're going to make like a crumble mixture with our hands. Let's start by stirring it up a little and work this into a crumble. So I'm going to reserve about 1/3 of my mixture and 2/3 is going to go into the crust. And that's maybe 1/3, give or take. And for the crust, I'm going to use 2 deciliters of whole buttermilk. If you can find whole milk buttermilk, great. Otherwise, use the low-fat version. That seems to be more common. 2 deciliters of buttermilk. And 1 egg. And now we'll work all the buttermilk and the egg in by just going around the circles on the edges, moving the bowl with my other hand, and then just scooping everything together. If it's a little dry, mine seems to be maybe on a little bit on the dry side, add buttermilk, maybe about a tablespoon at a time. Actually, no, it is coming together now. Maybe I won't after all. Just needs to hydrate for a moment. Now I'm going to coat the bottom and the sides of my baking pan. I'm using a baking pan that has tall sides. I'm going to coat this with butter, even though this is non-stick, but it's still a good idea. Coat it in butter. And sugar, which is going to prevent it from sticking. Okay, so now our crust goes in, our crust mixture. And we're just going to press this and spread it evenly across the bottom. Using wet hands so your hands don't stick to the mixture. We'll just try to make it nice and even. Otherwise it will not bake evenly. So I have here some fire yogurt. I'm using the 5% version here. So this is, if you remember me saying before, this is a substitute for Finnish quark. 500 grams of fire yogurt. Also 2 eggs. 2 deciliters of sugar, the remaining vanilla extract, about 2 teaspoons, and we'll whisk this all together. And now this mixture, we're just going to pour over our crust. And just spread it out evenly. You could leave a lip here too for the crust if you want. And now the rhubarb. I'm just going to give this a quick peel. And then I'm just going to slice it up. We want to get these kind of strands out of it. It is very stringy. Especially if you have rhubarb that's a little bit on the bigger side, a little bit less tender like mine is. If you have a young and tender, right out of the ground kind of rhubarb, you're probably okay without this step. And now we'll cut these into slices. Let's first trim off the ends. Rhubarb may look like celery, but it cooks a lot faster, so you don't necessarily need to worry so much about the pieces not being cooked enough when it's done, when the pie is done cooking. Now some people like to arrange these very neatly over here, but I like the crumb topping because you don't really see the filling so much, the slices of rhubarb, so I don't need to spend all the effort trying to make them look neat. It does look nice though when you do that. And now we're going to top this off with our crumble mixture. This is now going to go in the oven, 175 Celsius, about 350 Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes. Keep an eye on it, just make sure it doesn't burn, especially around the edges. Alright, so the rhubarb pie is out of the oven. It took a little bit longer than 45 minutes, but that's alright. It looks great, actually. Let me see. I don't know if it's possible to take this out of the container without breaking it, but if not, we'll just serve a piece straight out of the pan, which is fine too. First, let's separate the edges. Looks like the edges actually are pretty separate already. So I let this cool down completely after taking it out of the oven, just so that it's not hot. And you typically serve rhubarb pie pretty cold or cool, at least. It's not served hot. Let's see what happens. I don't think it's coming off. All right, so we'll flip this back out like this, and yeah. I think it's stuck in there. That's all right. We'll serve it straight from the pan. So let's use a spatula. And let's just grab a slice from here. Ooh. There we go. I think it'll come out. Perfect. There we go. Ooh, that is a nice looking slice. So let's taste the rhubarb pie. Many times rhubarb pie is served with vanilla sauce, maybe ice cream, whipped cream, something like that. But I'm just going to have it plain because it's still very moist. Like many other Finnish coffee cakes, this is not terribly sweet, but the sweetness balances out the tartness of the rhubarb pretty nicely. And the creaminess of the quark, of course. And then you have the crispiness of the topping that we have here. It has a lot of different textures going around, contrasting textures, which is great, and contrasting flavors too. If I would have made a change, maybe I just could have put in more rhubarb in it. I think you can't really see the rhubarb. You can definitely taste it, but But I think you don't have to be shy with the rhubarb. You could definitely put a lot of rhubarb, especially if you have it growing in the backyard. Go ahead, just put all your stalks in here. It'll be great. This is a great coffee cake to have. Maybe some cardamom too. Maybe that would have been good. But anyway, it's a great cake, pie, and try it out for yourself while rhubarb's available. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Finish Your Plate.